Past Jeff will always know better than present Jeff about if they both liked a deck when it was played. Yep, pretty much. All right, so this is Grixis Dragons, which is better known as turn 4 Niv-Mizzet, as I like to call it. So I've not tried Treasure Map in this deck, but based on Adrian Sullivan's success of playing a Niv-Mizzet Treasure Map deck in Jeskai colors, I want to try it in Grixis as well. I am trying some dive downs in here as well. That was some technology he had in his deck. One thing I'm trying in here, which is a little bit greedy with our mana base, is Ritual of Soot. So my mana base here, I've actually included a Cinder Barrens in it today. We've got 5 plus 6. So we have 11 black source in this mana base, which is a little bit low for casting Ritual of Soot consistently. That being said, Treasure Map is a card that theoretically helps fix our mana base because it makes treasures which make colors of any mana. So let's jump into some games here and see how it plays. We played a couple iterations of this in the past. This is different than the build that's on my website. If we play, 3 or 4 matches a day with this and we like it at the end, we might update the list on the site. I am ready to tilt and die about the Cinder Barrens multiple times in this set of games. What do I think of Grixis control in the current format? I think it tends to leave a little bit to be desired. I think this way to build Grixis control makes the most sense in that we have a bunch of Niv-Mizzet so we can kill our opponent. The problem with Grixis control is that Grixis colors don't have answers to some of the problems that exist in the format, which means when you can't answer their problem thing, you need to just be able to kill them. And coffee's for closers, and Niv-Mizzet's getting himself a cup of joe. He kills the opponent pretty quickly and consistently. I think I'm gonna mulligan this. 2 lands, 5-drop, double 6-drop does not sound exciting. In. The 2 damage from Ionize is worse than Surveil 1. However, casting a blue spell consistently on 3 requires more blue sources than this deck has. I enjoy playing Magic, so I like to just have my spell selection give me the best possible chance to do that. How much do I invest in paper Magic? I've never invested in paper Magic. When I wanna make an investment, I talk to my investment guy, and he sets me up. How many paper Magic cards do I buy for pleasure these days? Not many. I don't play much paper Magic. The person who asked about Sinister Sabotage earlier, I present Exhibit A. -3 Karn. Thanks for the 12 months. I knight thee, Defender of the Realm. Go forth and protect us from Twitch chat. I'm actually going to concede here. I'm not going to show them what exactly I'm doing, and like, Disinformation Campaign is a great example of one of those cards I was talking about where we just don't have an answer to it. And we just kind of need to hope to be able to kill the opponent, and we definitely don't have the tools to do that really in that game there. So let's just move along. Someone asked a question earlier while I was chewing, asking about how do you evaluate treasure map versus search for Azcanta? To answer your question honestly, I don't know. I don't know with certainty when one is always better than the other or vice versa. I think there's a lot of it depends type situations where it's better in one direction or not better in the other. Someone asked, is this my build of Grixis Dragons? This is, someone donated for, I believe it was Talrand, donated to put my current configuration of Grixis Dragons in the queue. Or maybe it was someone else. No, it wasn't Talrand. Talrand put Pirates back in the queue. There were a couple people that cheered up Pirates, or Dragons, that asked me to build it, and this is me trying some things. What do we cut from the last list to make recent changes? I don't know. Consult the past list. I barely keep a change log for my open source projects. I definitely don't keep a change log for my standard decks. Why do the mods not get the message that is my name? I love all of the meme accounts that this Twitch channel has spawned. There are several meme accounts like that that are just fantastic. Y'all are great. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday, by the way. Thanks for hanging out today. All right, so this runs into Negate and Syncopate, but they're more likely to have more counter spells as time goes on, so I'm just gonna jam here.
A little pain won't stop me.
Azcanta, like, kind of finds your win conditions. Like, finding Eldest Reborn is kind of like finding a win condition, right? Do you think it's worth running Cinder Barrens over basic lands that untapped? If you like casting your spells, probably. This deck has pretty strict requirements for the spells it's trying to cast. Like, I'm trying to curve Ritual of Soot into Niv-Mizzet some games, so like having more colored sources in my mana base is definitely ideal. My opponent untaps and slams an Eldest Reborn here. I'm going to be a little bit sad. Excuse me. All right, so that makes Niv-Mizzet castable. That bodes well for us. It means we're hopefully going to get to untap for this. The fact that they took our Niv-Mizzet there makes me sad that I ditched the Sarkhan for a land. Although I guess there's a chance they play a 5th land here and then I'm just discarding the Watery Grave anyways. Search whiff twice in a row. Rough. Yeah, the mana base and what this deck is trying to do will obviously be a lot better once we get Blood Crypt, right?
The other one's going bye-bye.
Negate, that seems pretty good. I think because I have Negate and Stroke here, I'm just gonna hang tight and not jam Nick. Because, like, Nick's got a pretty good chance to die here, right? Yeah, the more I play these blue-black X decks, I think Sultai is my preferred 3rd color going into green, because gaining access to Carnage Tyrant and Vraska and Assassin's Trophy is, like, really good for them. This is 2 turns off of Alting. I mean, if they're playing around the Stroke, that slows them down pretty significantly. They already played a land this turn, so they're not going to be able to disinformation campaign me again, so that's nice. This is what winning feels like? Maybe. Like, we're like a Vraska's Contempt or Eldest Reborn away from this Ral just going away and then, like, losing all of our ground. They have a ton of card advantage right now. Plague Crafter, also not fantastic for us.
Time to choose.
I'm gonna hold this Eldest Reborn in my, or this Sulfur Falls in my hand because my opponent has Disinformation Campaign in theirs and I'd like to discard the land rather than one of my spells here. Maybe I'm supposed to just jam the Eldest Reborn that turn. I'm gonna get sabotaged here and cry myself to sleep. Because they know about this stroke, right? Yeah, that's sad. Tough beat. Now we're all dressed up with nowhere to go. I'm just gonna jam this. I should have jammed this last turn. This was a mistake. They don't have that many threats in straight blue-black. I should just put this into play ASAP. We were winning right up until we were losing, right? Truer words. Yeah, I agree. It was a mistake on my part to wait to play this. I have a Nicol Bolas in my bin too that they took with a thought erasure earlier. They don't have anything in here, right? Oh. Does anybody else find it annoying that it starts at the bottom of their deck? It used to start at the top of the whatever pile you're looking at, which made sense to me, but starting at the bottom is kind of annoying. They're gonna get to pick this disinformation campaign back up, which means this discovery dispersal is going bye-bye. It really is, Rolf. Goodbye, dispersal. If they don't have, if we hit the 7th land and they don't have a removal spell, we can flip Nick over and get Niv as well. This is an easy Niv since we drew this. Because this means that they want to counter this, they're going to have to give me a card. Opponent sequencing here is a little bit medium. They should have done this during my end step, so I couldn't play the land that I drew, so that way they had a chance to take it away with this information campaign. I'm playing this land out rather than playing for a thought erasure bluff, because they have thought erasure. They're going to cast it and then pick this back up and make me discard this. There isn't really a large upside to holding a land to bluff there. That's unfortunate. It was just too much mana commonplace. 2 mana is a lot of mana in Modern. Dismember being 1 mana, and like Phyrexian Revoker coming in off of Collected Company is like a big deal. I kept just like drawing Assassin Trophy and like wishing it was anything else. Dive down feels real bad here. At least they have nothing going on too. What are the opponent's win con? Sadness? I'm assuming sadness is their win condition. Really want to draw a Niv so we can have a dive down to protect it. Nick is not bad. Okay. We're gonna get counterspelled, and then they're gonna pick this back up and make us incredibly sad. So they need to kill this and kill it again through the Disdainful Stroke. So like Contempt and they must have Eldest Reborn, right? Is that what they're sitting on? There's no way they have nothing, right? Never played Paper, but I want to try some Tard. It's never hard to get sequencing right. Nah, I don't think so. But I've also played a lot of paper, right? So like, I play a lot of digital now, but like once upon a time I played infinite paper Magic. Like, you know, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They did discard a cast down earlier, which I'm not sure why that's in their deck post board. No, this is game 2. The opponent's up a game. Oh, you can't see the game count underneath my banner. The opponent's up a game right now. Fear of Thief of Sanity. That's fair. That's fair. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I don't play Thief of Sanity in my deck, is because I don't want people to be able to just like border removal spells and kill it. So this is happening, right? This is about to happen. This is a thing that's totally about to happen. Don't mind me. Just go flip my Nicol Bolas over.
The multiverse is at my disposal. The dead shall serve.
You get the other Nick? Oh, maybe that's true. They kept a card on top of their deck with their Sinister Sabotage. Yeah, I should have gotten. He does not give you mana to flip Nicol Bolas. Please read Sarkhan. You are mistaken. God, they have an answer for this too? They do not. Okay. Alright, so I get 4 shots to draw an answer to Doom Whisperer. Yeah, I think chat's right that I should have gotten the other Nicol Bolas back.
This is unmatched.
Who are you to call me mad? I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I got punished here. If I would have gotten the other Nicol Bolas back, this wouldn't have happened, which would have been really good for me. Again, just like, I feel like this game here is like really showing one of the reasons why I've started working on Sultai decks as opposed to Grixis decks. Just like having answers to things like enchantments is a huge draw. Yep. This is good sequencing on their part. They're surveilling in response to the draw trigger, and this is going to pick this right back up immediately, too. Yeah, I agree. The mana, as far as supporting Ritual of Soot goes, leaves a bit to be desired. Like, casting Ritual of Soot and Niv in the same deck is pretty tough. When an earthquake happens, coffins become underground maracas. Have fun thinking about that for the next 10 minutes. What's going on? Thanks for the 7 months, Nerva. The 6 months. That's for the half a year. Yep. Blue should have enchantment removal. Get out of here. Wow, they're actually just going to empty my hand here, huh? I'm going to go down to 0. Might be better to switch to banner and notification overlay since covering the enemy's graveyard deck seems less important than game count. Now, I don't think that's remotely true, especially with the interactive overlay. I think people want to be able to see where the deck are so they can click on them on screen.
show you unhinged.
All right, that was a rough game one. All right, I was gonna shill anyways, and then Arena decided to crash. So what better point? How we doing, folks? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play pretty much nothing but constructive Magic on this channel. We play a ton of Standard here on Magic Arena. We also play some Modern on Magic Online. If you enjoy my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the reason I'm able to do this full-time as a job. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. By subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my wonderful sponsors. Harry's Razors would love to help you get that close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/HoogleShave. You can save $5 on your brand new starter kit with them. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your cards into other cards directly to the players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of custom artwork that they have on their website, such as my own wonderful Hoaglandia branded merchandise. Speaking of Hoaglandia, I'd like to welcome everyone here today. Thanks for hanging out. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. I appreciate you choosing to spend some of your time here with us. We're going to be playing a little bit more of this deck, as well as, what's the last thing we have today? We have mono green elves we're going to wrap things up with later. And after you're done watching all of those, if you're interested in seeing more of my content, be sure to check out my website, jeffhoagland.com. Pretty much everything I stream gets archived there, and you can find everything cut up by deck, so you can watch just the stuff that you care about. Someone asked, was it better to down-tick the Nick? I don't think so. I think I'm better off hoping to draw an answer there. I think the actual mistake I made is that I should have gotten back my second Nicol Bolas with the first Nicol Bolas. It would have made them discard the Ravenous Chupacabra, and then my first Nicol Bolas could have killed the Doom Whisperer, and then I would have flipped the second one over, returning the original one again. So I think if I would have used his original reanimation spell better, I probably would have won that game. But I also think based on the decision that I made, I was correct to draw cards there at that point. I can't just like dwell on the past. Shock is a wonderful draw here on turn 1 against Mono Red. I know my opponent chose to surveil the previous turn and keep the card that was on top of their deck, and they then drew it. So they drew a card that they looked at and decided they wanted to keep. So I think based on the fact that they kept a card on top, I should have emptied the card out of their hand. Also, having a backup Nicol Bolas on top of that would have just been meaningful and good. All right, 5-mana Planeswalker, double 6-drop. Bring it on, Mono Red. God, we're dead. We're about to get run OVER, chat. I think I just keep a land. I don't think I can bottom a land. Yeah, I agree, Duo. It's not, and again, like, that's something that I feel like a lot of people undervalue a lot of the time is Magic's not about just beating the board. Magic's about having a cohesive game plan in order to win in the long term. Speaking of, we are super dead. Yeah, I'm kind of off this Grixis Dragon stack. Feels really clunky and awkward. And I don't think any of the changes, it doesn't work on the desktop app Flying Tempest. You have to be in your web browser on my page. For whatever reason, their extensions don't work with their own desktop app. You'd have to ask someone at Twitch about that idiotic decision. I think that's nonsense, Ulpop. I think there's a lot of matches in this format that are all about amassing card advantage and stuff like that. And like, if you're watching these games and the conclusion you're coming to that Treasure Map and Sarkhan are the issue, I feel like you haven't actually been watching the games. I've not played Adrian Sullivan's version of Jeskai. I believe it's in the donation queue at some point. We're going to get to it, but I've not played it yet. Seems pretty good. It's kind of like Grixis midrange. That wasn't the issue at all, Celerius. Like, that was the issue the last game against the aggro deck before we dragged our curve down, but every control deck can have that issue. Like, we literally just lost a match where we got ground out on turn 40. So, like, the not having something to do wasn't the issue there, right? Like, it was a very, very different issue. So I'm not, like, sure what game you were watching, if you like that's your takeaway. Again, just like when you're looking at a deck, you want to be looking at the problems that you have and then trying to solve them. And like, we definitely have an issue with people getting under us depending on how our draw lines up, but that's every control deck in every format of Magic. All right, I'm going to be a little bold here and try and hostage shaker their Chain Whirler to use back on their board here. Obviously, if they have a way to kill this, I'm going to be sad, but if they don't, it's going to be real good for us. Rude. Oh, that's actually fine, right? I Chain Whirler and then I shock this. Pop goes the weasel. Do 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 do. Little did I know I should have waited a turn. Why are there goblins and pirates? Asking the real questions. Yeah, I've played Fiery Cannonade in the past, and it just really hasn't been impressive for me. It's felt like it's left a lot to be desired on a number of occasions. No, I used my tool correctly. I looked at what the auto tapper wanted to do, and when it wanted to do something that I didn't want it to do, I told it not to. The auto tapper's great. Don't besmirch the name of the wonderful auto tapper, okay? I think this deck definitely has issues, but I don't think the issues that this deck has stem from the treasure maps and the Sarkhans. Does my wife have the sub tiers on it? My website. So if you go to the submit deck page here at bit.ly/Hugel sellout, that details what bonuses I give my different sub tiers in terms of points and things being added to my queue. Yep. Have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for dropping in today. So this game's pretty over, right? And like, it's probably worth noting that like, we're gonna win this game, and it has nothing to do with Niv-Mizzet, right? Like, we won this game because of our fun of Hostage Taker in the board and Nicol Bolas. We did play Pirates, played almost 2 hours of Pirates. Had a really good set. I think I'm pretty close to what I want to play this weekend. Yeah, I agree, Pokemon Nerd. You need the ability to play both Ritual of Soot and Moment of Craving. You basically... The problem with Grixis right now is the way Grixis works in the standard format is Grixis wants to be blue, black, splash, red. And with the mana base we currently have, the mana base pushes us towards not that, right? We want more black mana. We want like black to be the primary, blue to be the secondary, and red to be the splash. And right now it's blue is the primary, black is the secondary, red's the splash. And it's not, you want to flip those first two really. Oh, Direfleet Poisoner should be in my deck. I'm gonna trim a Niv-Mizzet actually, because he's a little expensive and slow. It's not even true. I'm gonna trim Discovery. I think while Niv-Mizzet was clunky there, I need ways to actually end the game. We're not always gonna draw our Nicol Bolas. Navigator's Compass is not good against aggressive decks. By the time Navigator's Compass is an anti-aggro tool, you've either stabilized the game or you're dead. If you've made it to 7 lands against an aggressive deck, you no longer need a stabilization card. I think Navigator's Compass is a very reasonable standard legal card, but it's good against mid-range decks. It's not good against aggressive decks. Hey, SCTR, thanks for the sub gift, Rooney. I appreciate that. Am I binning the extra Sarkhan here? I think so.
Let us. Bolas told me I should do this.
Bolas told me I should do this. Navigator's. Oh, that card seems. That's really mediocre.
A challenge.
That's really expensive fixing, and like the 3 mana doesn't really make up for. This is the legendary turn 4 Niv.
Look to the skies.
All right, can I untap? They could have Lava Coil here. If they have Lava Coil, Fanatical Firebrand plus Lava Coil kills my Niv. They have Lava Coil. Rough. All right, it got a 2 for 0 because they drew a card, but they get to kill Sarkhan here now. My next turn is probably Shotgun, Steam Vents, Lava Coil, Chain Whirler, hold up Ionize, depending on what they play out here. I really would like to draw a dive down here so I can play Hostage Taker on Chain Whirler with protection. It makes sense that they boarded in Lava Coil after getting Hostage Taker in game 2. It's funny, I actually have my 1-of Hostage Taker here again. Listen, chat, no gamble, no future. No gamble, no future. What has happened here? Why? I've had this happen before. Has anybody had this bug? It's like showing all my lands and like, this is my hand, right? If you decline, it ends your turn. Every time I decline, it ends my turn. So I don't want to decline because I want to play my land. Wait, what? Hadouken? Seconds before the disaster. Goblins don't learn, Jeff. It's a Vorthos play. With the Ionize here, this game should be pretty locked up. Yeah. There's a difference between sponsored through Twitch Bounty Board and sponsored through WotC on your website. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I've never, whenever I've been sponsored before, it's not directly from Wizards of the Coast. Nobody from WotC ever comes up to me and says, "Hey, Hoagland, we like your stuff and the content that you make. Let's sponsor you." Believe it or not, all of these various arena streamers that WotC's been getting onto the front page of Twitch and like all over the place, like Nox and Gabby and Day9, I wasn't asked to be a part of that group. Which is fine. I'm doing well enough without them, and hopefully that will continue to be the case, but... Do you have a good Grixis disinformation campaign deck? Not that I've played. We play a little bit of blue-black disinformation campaign, and you can find my current blue-black disinformation campaign deck on my website, but it's been a hot second. Yeah, Day9 does good stuff. He's a very good content producer. I'm watching a lot of his artifact stuff, too. That just generically puts everyone from the Magic section of Twitch up there hyped. But that's good to know. That's sweet. I believe that list, I'm pretty sure that list just populates with everybody's on the Magic section. Like there were MTGO players in there too last I checked. That's not hand curated. Ideally, it probably should be hand curated so it only shows arena stuff up there and not MTGO, but you know, details. That's not true, Illumi. Like, Gabby's a Magic streamer as well. So, like, Gabby was explicitly got bumps the last couple of days, too. I love this deck as much as I hate playing. This deck's very good against Jeskai. I would like to queue into Jeskai here at least once so we can dumpster that. Well, I mean, there's a good chance we cast this Niv-Mizzet on 6. I mean, like, how can you mulligan? What if they're playing a control deck, chat? Who wants to keep? Who wants to keep? They're playing Jeskai, I can feel it. Basic Mountain Goblin. Ugh. Alright, we did it. We did it. We did it. What was I going to say? Someone said they've noticed there's a lot of arena streams lately and not a lot of Magic Online streams. There's never been a lot of Magic Online streams. And there just happened like a lot. Arena brought a lot of new people into streaming Magic. It's been very good for the game. Like if you go look at the Twitch data on somewhere like Sully Gnome from like when Arena hit open beta, it's like night and day. Yeah, in order to watch someone stream Magic Online, you have to either really like the person streaming or be really invested in the format that they're playing. So, like, they're not a deck full of goblins, but this is probably one of the worst matchups for Niv-Mizzet. We're actually just going to die before we do anything here, right? Arena needs to unlock trading among other arena players. Nope. Hard pass. Hard pass. You want your Carnage Tyrant? You want Carnage Tyrant to cost $40 on Arena? Because that's how Carnage Tyrant costs $40 on Arena. You make it tradable. Believe it or not, I think we've died. I don't know that turn 6 Niv's gonna get there. Why not both wild cards and trading? I guess. Why not both?
For selfish reasons, I would prefer that trading just stay away, because then I would have to hear from the MTG finance crowd about how the value of their arena collection is getting torpedoed by all the free stuff that's given out. And if you don't think that that's something that would happen, you're sorely mistaken. But my value! What do you mean people want to play Magic? I need my value! It's also almost certainly true that adding trading to Arena would hurt Wizards of the Coast bottom line. I agree with that. And believe it or not, Wizards of the Coast is a for-profit company that's trying to make Magic off of you. They're trying to profit from you playing this game, chat. The monsters. Forgot to press this button for like 2 weeks. Thank you, Terran Terror, for the 7 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thank you for the tier 3 resub at that. Welcome. I think this is common, like in the age of social media where brands have a social media presence, is people often mistake people working for companies and caring about the product that they make as the company cares about them and wants to give them things for free or cheap. Because like there's a ton of really passionate people at Wizards of the Coast that love Magic and they work hard to make Magic, but like those aren't the people that like make all the decisions surrounding Magic, right? Like there's a bunch of people in suits that decide decisions that affect the bottom line. PCV, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. What about a closed secondary market? No, people would still care about value. You'd still hear these value complaints. I should have sided in Dire Fleet. I didn't side it in because I'm dumb. Probably because you don't have a copy of it. There's a search box in your, there's a checkbox in the search menu that says show cards you don't own. Well, awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube content. Welcome to a live one, PCB. I appreciate you dropping in, even if just to get the Twitch Prime stuff. Twitch Prime pays my bills. Bezo bucks help put the down payment on the new house for sure. God bless. And this is a good play from the opponent's side. So they've taken my Lava Coil here, so that way I'm forced to Vraska's Contempt this, so I don't have the Contempt when they play a better threat. As here, while I deploy my basic Swamp in my wonderful Niv-Mizzet deck here. Yeah, don't feel bad if you didn't notice it. WotC needs to make it more apparent that you can like need to check a thing to search for cards you don't have. Would you prefer a tier 2 sub or a Prime tier 1 sub? Because my understanding Prime is equal to tier 1, but you get the full percentage. So tier 2 subs give me more than Prime or tier 1. So Prime subs and tier 1 subs are the same. They're a $5 sub, whereas the tier 2 subs are a $10 subscription. So that costs you more, but it also gives me more. So as far as Twitch Prime and tier 1 subs go, those are both identical to me. Both of those give me the same amount of dollar dues at the end of the day. Yeah, I agree, Orms. I think it would be better for a lot of people if it was inverted. Yeah, I agree. I hope as Wizards moves closer to an official release for Arena, they push harder into connecting the two parts of their game. Like, there's no reason that digital and physical shouldn't be closely intertwined, in my opinion.
right? Well, that was a good draw. Yeah, like the opponent's stumbling, but like we don't have anything going on, so like. Yeah, I agree. I think it's something that's on their mind. Oh, they've been to Carnage Siren earlier. Why, hello. Well, hello there. Don't mind if it does. Why, hello. Yeah, in a big perfect world where WotC doesn't want to make piles of money, I would prefer... Oh, I think I do have auto stacking triggers on. Yeah, I should turn that off. I would prefer to have the Warhammer card model. The Warhammer TCG has the most consumer friendly card model of any digital card game that exists. Their model is just so fantastic. For people who aren't familiar, the Warhammer card game, when you buy a physical card, it has a unique code on it, and you scan the physical card into the digital app. So when you get a card in paper, you get it in digital as well. I've actually bought more paper Warhammer cards than Magic cards in the last couple of months because I'm buying them to play on the app. And then if I ever decide to play in paper for some reason, I have them. They can even, like, people always talk about, like, helping out local game stores and pushing stuff like that. Could you imagine if, like, showing up to F&M gave you the F&M promo on Magic Arena? Or, like, you play 4 F&Ms, you get a free draft on Magic Arena, you draft at your local game store, you get a draft on Arena. I've never heard of Chaotic. The game I was talking about just now is called Warhammer Champions. AOS Champions that came out last summer, or this past summer. The thing about MTGO is you get the idea of spending money on cards. You'll never turn a lot of people off. I guess you balance it out by the fact that you basically gamble on MTGO, yep. Yeah, I agree. It should, for any reasonable programmer, it should be, hopefully should be trivial to link a DCI account to an Arena account. Does that mean other people could scan your cards if you haven't done it yet? Yeah, it does mean. So basically, the code on the cards is just a digit around the outside of the card tear and tear. So when you're selling a card online, you just block part of the border of the card. So that way people can't scan the card if you're selling it. They have a Jade Light Ranger on top here, so they'll play this Jade Light Ranger. I'll Fungal Infection it in response to its Explore trigger, and then I'll have a 1/1 that can trade with the Stitcher Supplier, which is sweet. How do you trade / sell Warhammer cards if you've registered them? When you scan a card that you've already scanned, it gives you the option to unclaim it. So if you've already claimed a card, you can just be like, scan it again and then unclaim it so you can trade the digital with the physical. The system is really clean and well done. I mean, like, to be fair, we're losing this game because we're not drawing lands in general, not because we drew the swamp. Like, we're not really much better off here if I have, like, 4 red-blue lands in play, right? Maybe I should have double Lava Coiled this.
Maybe I should double Lava Coil this because they could just volley it back here. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to double coil this. Yeah, I agree, Gara. On top of having the secondary market for paper cards, Warhammer offers free to play in a really nice manner. It's actually got a really good free to play system. Their new set release, I actually didn't spend any money on it. It's like built all the decks I wanted to build with the gold I'd saved up. I think we might be dead, chat. I mean, I can't really Poisoner plus Coil, because Coil's not an instant. God, Coil would be so good if it was an instant. Yeah, I'm gonna be done with this one. I think I'm actually gonna pull this one off my website for recommended decks. I feel like, again, just like the more... Hey, Anti-Trumpet, thanks for the tip, I appreciate it. Oh, my dashboard's not up. Let me find it. Let's steal all the opponent's stuff for Blue-Black Hostage Taker Thief Midrange. Thank you, Trumpet. Appreciate the support. So... I think this build was probably a little bit worse than the one on my website, as far all things considered. The treasure maps felt a little bit clunky. In general, I think this archetype's just a little bit clunky, though. I don't know if I'm really happy with it in general. Not being able to interact with enchantments and just other random things getting under you really makes me feel like I probably would rather be doing something else as far as control goes. I think I would greatly prefer to just like play Adrian Sullivan's Jeskai list if I wanted something with a bunch of Nivs in it. So, a little disappointing. I was kind of thought this deck was sweet, and I actually played a match or two with this last night and felt a little bit medium on it, and then we played it some more today, and it continued to feel pretty bad, so I don't think this is one I'd recommend anymore. I think if you want to look into something that's controlling, you'd want to focus on either Jeskai or Sultai. The various Sultai lists that have Carnage Heart and Assassin's Trophy really shores up a lot of the issues that Blue-Black control has, whereas adding a bunch of red cards doesn't really solve problems that Blue-Black has, it doesn't feel like. Tuning in for my sub renewal just in time to see Jeff can see what's going on, RXX. Thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. I am not old enough to run for president.